welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're talking about the DPS Kaizen 105. Now I skied these in a 184, which means they have an 18 meter turn radius. They're using a mixture of carbon and ash wood. These skis feature their new split core, which is a combination of poplar and ash. These are the narrower version of the other ski that I reviewed, the DPS Kaizen 112. A healthy amount of camber, similar to the other Kaizens, very aggressive splay on the tips with that rocker, and moderate splay on the tails. Now, full disclosure, I was not paid by anyone to review ski. In fact, I'm not paid by anyone to review any ski in general. But I spent my own money paying to demo these skis at Greenwoods. Big shout out to Greenwoods, they give me a discount on their demo skis. I still pay for them, but I demo and review so many skis that it really makes a big difference to me. So I really appreciate Greenwoods giving me that discount and also just being great to work with. They have really given me the ability to have access to skis I normally would not, and this is no exception. I have worked with DPS in the past, but I think they've sold out of a lot of their skis, so it's been hard to get my hands on stuff. Anyway, Greenwoods has been tremendous. I like working with them, and shout out to them. Now first we'll talk first impressions, then we'll talk about the good and the downsides, and the overall score. First impressions with this ski were pretty amazing, and I'm not sure that this ski makes the best first impression. It's kind of a mid-width, low powder ski, so a lot of times when you get that kind of snow, the base can be firm underneath, and I think that when the snow gets firm, this ski kind of struggles more in that area. So the first impressions aren't that positive, but as I look at my notes, the farther I get down, the higher the score goes. You know what I mean? Like, the more I spent time on them, the more I grew to love them. But the first impressions were just like, similar to the Kaizen 112, when the snow is soft and smooth, these skis just feel buttery smooth in the flex. I hate the term buttery because it's way overused in the ski industry, but this ski is so kind of gradual and soft that you feel everything underfoot. It's very sensitive to different snow textures, and if the snow textures are good, you feel the really good snow. It accentuates the good feeling of skiing powder, but it can also kind of accentuate the feeling of bad snow underfoot. So I think the first couple of runs, I just had a hard time finding the powder, but once I found the soft spots, then I also got rewarded by that. I do think at first I was pretty skeptical of these skis because they're not cheap, right? These start at like almost $1,700. And I was kind of like, at that point, just get the Kaizen 112, right? I love the Kaizen 112 so much. And these were good in the powder, but just, I don't know, they didn't have quite that pizzazz, quite that flow. Once I got these on the groomed runs and on the corduroy and carved on them, that's where I saw the real value. And really, the most shocking first impression for me was, oh, these feel really good to carve. This feels like, and I have no way of basing this, but this feels like probably what the Pieceworks platform is based off of. Just guessing, I have no way of knowing that, I have no insider information, but this ski was very surprising on the groomed runs. I would say definitely like if it's icy or overly firm, you know, it's not a carving ski for that, but in decent soft snow or any kind of corduroy groomed runs, this was very rewarding and surprising fun on the groomed runs. But anyway, those are my first impressions. Let's jump into the good and then we'll talk about the downside. So the first good I have in my notes is just really good in the soft, light snow. Once you find that, it's so rewarding. It makes the hunt kind of worth it. And you combine that with the Phantom Glide, which on this pair I did feel, it just combines for such a smooth feeling on the soft, powdery snow. It's kind of like every good feeling that you kind of wait all year for, and most people, they get to ski powder 5 days a year, it accentuates that and just makes it 10% better with the softness and then another 10% better with the Phantom Glide. This is, on soft snow, hard to beat. The only thing that beats it probably is the Kaizen 112 or, you know, a more designated powder ski, but this, if you find really light, good textured snow, you're going to enjoy it on these skis. It also, similar to its wider counterpart, feels excellent on the feet. Didn't get a lot of kind of uncomfortable feelings in my hips and knees. It always just feels very ergonomical, but the hop turns, especially in the trees, were really fun on these skis. Similar to the Kaizen 112, it just, jumping and landing, everything's kind of springy and smooth. I don't know how to explain it. A lot of times at my home mountain, the places that still have fresh powder in the trees, and in searching for that, you have to kind of go through some of the thicker brush and trees. And in those areas, these were really fun and really forgiving and really easy to kind of make quick hop turns. The most surprising part for this ski was the carving. The carving feels so good, so springy. I was able to get my hand down into the ground. I was not expecting these to carve well, and part of the reason I was expecting them to not carve well is because you go on the cat track and they feel squirrely, right? If you're just kind of taking these straight line and you don't have your ski initiated, they feel unstable. So I was like, oh man, these are not gonna carve well. I don't know what the ski is for. But as soon as you get onto a groomed run and you load up the ski, it instantly changes shape. You lose a lot of that instability because the ski is engaged and now it's changed shape. It's like night and day. I couldn't believe it going from the cat tracks to the carve run, how well these carve. I was expecting them to totally stink and they blew me away. I mean, I wouldn't want them on hard pack East Coast ice, and I don't think that's really what they're built for in the first place. But if you get them on hero snow, if you get them on West Coast firm corduroy, or you get them on anything that's even been a little bit sunbaked, these are so fun to carve on. They're so springy, kind of like the Pieceworks. They give you all your energy in and out of the turn. You can get them really low. The thing that really blew me away about these for carving is just how high of an edge angle I was able to access. These skis really, that's the best part about the carving. They have such a wide range of edge angle that you can get and still have this be stable. Because of that soft gradual flex, it still creates a really solid but springy platform. These are a dream to take on a groomed run. You know, you look at something like the Fisher Ranger 102 that I just reviewed. It does well in the trees and the powder, but when you get onto the groom runs, the inside ski kind of washes out. Not this. This is like, oh, we'll give you edge angles, we'll hold, we'll give you all of your energy in and out of the turn. This is absolutely amazing. I was kind of skeptical when I first saw the carbon Pieceworks that they're making. I was kind of thinking, does DPS really know anything about carving skis? I mean, they make powder skis, that's what they're known for, and I could not believe how well these carve. Now I kind of get it. Now I'm like, oh, they've always been doing this. The carbon and wood or whatever's going on with the materials of the ski are so springy, so rewarding, and you don't have to go that fast to make really fun carved turns. Again, it's not like a Stokely where it's gonna be good on ice. As soon as this ski gets up against anything firm, it's not really gonna be able to, you know, hold a match to it. But I don't know what you're expecting from a 104 light powder ski like this. I was really floored at how much fun I had, and I think that's one thing that makes this ski a really positive experience, because you're able to have fun even if the powder is only light amounts, or maybe you go to run, you don't find anything, you go back onto the groomed run, you can have fun either way. And I think that just, I don't know, makes it really, really a surprising treat for me. All right, now that we talked about the good, let's talk about the downsides, because every ski has downsides and this ski is no exception. Now the downsides are, once you get into firm snow, which I kind of mentioned before, this ski really gets kind of pinged around. It does not do well in firm snow underneath or hard pack or ice. Like I said, it can carve and you can kind of get through that stuff, but as soon as the mountain starts to fight back with hard snow texture, these things really do get bounced around. If you get into like some really weird chopped up old ice that's underneath the powder, you'll kind of get bounced around up and down as well. If the weather's bad, this probably isn't a first choice. This is really a fair weather skier ski, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think baseball's kind of ruined that term of fair weather fans. This is more like, there are a set of skiers that really only want to enjoy the mountain when the weather is good or when the snow texture is good. And if you're one of those people, this is a perfect fit for you, because when the snow's good, these are really good. But when the snow is harsh and not really forgiving, this ski really does struggle more than most other skis. I also think just for the amount of money that these cost, I can't give them as much slack as I would for the Kaizen 112. For the Kaizen 112, it's like, okay, this does powder better than anything I've ever seen. It's doing this one job really good. This ski has a wider range than the Kaizen 112, and it certainly carves better than the Kaizen 112, but I think that how much it struggles for bad snow really limits its range, and I think it's just not as good of a value. Would I spend my own money on these skis? Unlike the Kaizen 112, probably not. I probably would not spend my own money on a Kaizen 105. I would just use that money to get a Kaizen 112. I think that it's meant to be a pretty diverse ski, and it is a good bluebird ski, and if that's what you're looking for, you want to build out a quiver where this is your light powder ski, maybe the Kaizen 112 is your deep powder ski, whatever, you know, and then the firm days you have a Stokely or a Volkel or a Nordica. Sure, this makes plenty of sense, but I just think that it's limited range mixed with value is not something I would spend my own money on, so I have to put the price as a con. I was more forgiving for the Kaizen 112 because it's so good at one thing, and this is pretty good at a handful of things, but I just think that that value is a little bit harder to swallow in this case. But that's for me. Maybe you live in an area that doesn't get a ton of powder, and you know, this ski makes a whole lot more sense to you. You have to go based on what your actual needs are. The other downside I'll say is that if you are somebody who likes to straight line, this probably isn't your ski. This ski really does well with flexing and getting high edge angles and doing quick turns and doing like kind of off-trail stuff and doing quick hop turns. But like I said, if you just let these sit straight and you don't keep them engaged, you will see a lot of speed chatter. I'd say like low GS to high GS speeds. Now, if you engage the ski, if you're carving and you have your boot flexed, then it becomes a whole different monster. It really does hold up a lot better. But if you're just somebody who's gonna point them straight down the hill, you will see some chatter, especially at high speeds or on firmer snow. You can get around that by actually carving. I don't think anyone should really be straight lining because it's really dangerous and doesn't take a lot of skill. But if there are people who like doing that every day, and if you're looking for something that can do that, the ski doesn't quite fit the bill on that. So that would be another downside. But overall, I mean, I love these skis. I'm just trying to kind of tell you downsides so you don't buy it for the wrong thing. I don't want you to spend $1,700 and have it totally not fit your needs. Like I said, I don't get paid by anyone. I'm trying to help people who buy skis narrow down to what might actually be a good fit for them. For a handful of people in light powder who want a springy carver, this is a great ski. But you know, there's another handful of people where they'd be really unhappy. At least in my opinion, based on how I ski. So now, what would I give these skis for a score? My notes are really funny on this. Because when I was first just going in the trees and on the powder, I gave them a 7.8. I was like, these are fair weather skis. They don't have as much flotation as the 112, and they just don't get a pass as much with that higher price. And then after a couple runs, I was like, you know what, actually, I think this is like a 7.98. I am having a lot of fun. I am getting really fun hop turns. I enjoyed these more than the Ranger 102. I think they deserve a higher score. I'm kind of finding the sweet spot. They do struggle in the hard snow. And then as soon as I got them on corduroy and actually carved on them, I was like, oh my God. I didn't think of it. I wrote them off, you know, ahead of time, and I was like, these carve really well. It totally brings it up from an 8.3 to an 8.6. I do think I would rather have the 112 just because DPS is so good at that powder and that smooth flex, but these carve surprisingly well. I would much rather be on this than a Ranger 102 or a handful of other Midwest skis. This is so much fun to carve. You don't have to go fast to have fun. You get all of your energy in and out of the turn when you're carving, and on top of that, you get a buttery smooth powder ski. You know, for light amounts of powder, probably up to 6 inches would be the limit. And you get a very fun, hoppy, in between trees and mogul ski. I do think this is a phenomenal ski for the right person. And if you're looking for a light powder ski that can carve on soft snow, on forgiving textures, right? You can't take it up to, you know, East Burke and run it on the training hill with all those BMA racers. But you go to Bogus Basin, Paradise has had some time to sunbake, you go in parts that still have corduroy. This is a phenomenal ski to carve on. So I do think that the price that they're asking does hit the ski a little bit, just because it's meant to have a wide range at this width, and the hard snow really bouncing it around does take some points off, and it's more expensive. For stuff that's really good at one thing, like a Stokely or a DPS Kaizen 112, I can say, okay, this is the best at this thing. I can work past the price a little bit, but for something that's supposed to have a wide range and the harder snow hits it and it's expensive, I think, in my opinion, it affects the score a little bit more heavily. That's just my opinion. If it doesn't matter to you, you know, go for it. But I think overall, this ski is just like the king of bluebird days. It's really fun. And overall, I'm gonna give it an 8.6. It's pricey. It's good at a handful of things. It's really good at them, and it has a couple of weaknesses, but if those things don't matter to you, if you don't get really hard packed snow, if you only get light amounts of powder, then this is probably perfect for you. But again, everything has to line up. I'm not the kind of person who's like, this is great, just buy. It's like, no. Get something you're gonna use, get something that fits your needs. It's a tool for a job, and if that tool matches up with what you're looking for, I did find it to be a very fun ski, carving and light amounts of powder. It just has to meet those needs. So, like I said, 8.6, I had a ton of fun on these. Thank you so much to Greenwoods for giving me access to these skis and giving me a discount. I really appreciate it. It just means I can test that many more skis. If you end up buying these skis or the 112 or any ski in general, please use the affiliate links down below. That's the majority of how I make money on YouTube, and it allows me to not take money from any of these brands. I mean, not that I would take it anyway, but it makes a huge difference to me. It doesn't cost anything extra to you, and I would really appreciate it if you use those affiliate links if you're gonna buy. If you don't need to buy anything, don't buy stuff you don't need, but if you're buying anyway, it would mean a ton to me. But as always, more than anything, just thank you for taking the time to watch this video. You can like and subscribe, you can become a member, but as always, because you guys watch these videos, I have more access to more skis. I don't know, like, I don't know what else to say other than I am so humbled that you guys care about my opinion and that you take time to watch my videos, and it just means a ton to me. So anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you liked it. Check out the links down below. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya. That's what I get for not adjusting the din. I've been getting kind of lazy with that. I just leave it at 10, which is what they put it at. I've been like, oh, that's close enough.